All right, guys, do another quick one here. So we have section 11.2 on page 712, and so this is all you have to take notes on. You don't have to take notes on that section. We're just doing some quick review for the week. So 712, don't forget from radians to degrees, you multiply by 180 over pi, and if it's from degrees to radians, you're going to multiply by pi over 180, and our arc length, if you can read my writing, it's been a while. Arc length is equal to the radius times theta. So, and I'll show you that here in a second. So let's take what they give us, which is 160 degrees. So if I want to rewrite that in radians, I'm going to go from degrees to radians. I'm going to have 160 degrees times pi over 180. And so then I get 160 over 180 pi. Then I can simplify this. I can take the zeros off. And then I can simplify that fraction. 2 goes into that 8 times. 2 goes into that 9 times. So my degrees in radians is 8.9 pi. 8 over 9 pi. So remember, these are equivalent. In other words, they mean the same exact thing, except one's expressed in degrees and one is expressed in radians. Okay? So that's how you convert from degrees to radians, and you can go backwards if you needed to. So, with the next piece, they ask you to do positive and negative angles. So, if you guys remember, and I'll use a bike tire here, if you remember, the unit circle starts like this, and then it rotates around 360 degrees. Now, if we're at 160 degrees, which is going to be, we'll use this Goodyear thing, I'll rotate it around like that, 160 degrees is going to be right there. So that went 160 degrees this way. Now I'm going to rotate that all the way around to where it stops again. How far did I go? I went another 360 degrees. So add those two together. That's going to be 400. That's going to be 520 degrees. That's a positive coterminal, meaning they're equivalent. They're equivalent spots. Look, 160 is right here. If I spin the tire forward, go around one rotation, I end up in the exact same spot. Coterminal, exact same ending point. Now, if I want a negative one, that means my answer has to be negative. How do I go negative? Well, I go backwards. So if I go backwards one rotation, that wasn't backwards, we'll go this way. That was forwards. So here's my 160, right here at the Goodyear. I'm going to spin it, stop it right there. I went backwards 360 degrees, so I have negative 300 degrees. That is also coterminal, but it's my negative coterminal. Whoops, can't spell. This is also bouncing. Coterminal. So, I've got my positive and my negative coterminal. So you have three angles that are coterminal. Let me grab my other pen here. We have 160, we have 520, and we have negative 300. That's not negative 300, that's negative 200. Negative 200. So, start at 160, go around 360, 520 degrees. Take it away, start at 160, go backwards, take it away, gives me negative 200. So that's how you do positive and negative coterminals. Now, arc length's a little different. Arc length, we need two things. We need radius and we need theta. Okay, so I'm just going to ask you how far does this bike move? Oops. With 1 Okay? One rotation. So we're going to, where is my tape measure? Well, I've been out here working in the garage and I don't have my tape measure. All right then, we may have to estimate this. I look for my electronic one. No, I don't have it. Well, that's a bummer. Okay, so no tape measure right now. All right, so I don't even know what I got to measure. All right, so basically you're going to take, this is the bike. How far does this bike move with one rotation? So one rotation means, let's start with a Goodyear. If I go all the way around, that is going to be 2 pi. So I know my theta is equal to 2 pi. All I need is my radius, and it's really bugging me that my tape measure is not in my bucket, my woodworking bucket. That's a bummer. All right, so I just need to know how far this is here, from here to here. Let's just estimate it. Let me use my foot. So I'm going to measure with my foot. It's approximately 12 inches. Let's call it 13 inches. So my radius is 13 inches. You can measure that with a measuring tape. So measure 13 inches. From the out here to here is 13 inches. So if I draw that, I'll draw it for you. Hopefully you can see it. So here's the outside edge. It goes around. Here's the middle. I got my spokes. And this distance here is 13 inches. Okay? So now what happens? Well, what happens is if I want to find the length, I just take the radius, which is 13 inches, and I multiply it by 2 pi. So 13 times 2 is 26 times 3.14. So then, let's go, let's just estimate this, so I'll just use 3.1. So we'll do 3.1, it's going to be 3 times 26 is what, 678 plus 0.1 times 26 is 2.6, so approximately 80.6 inches. So when this tire rotates one rotation, you will have gone 80.6 inches, which is almost 8 feet. So that's how you use arc length. Here's a good way to explain a problem using for your part B. Be using and explaining something like this. So don't forget that you can add to that. You got your note taking, which is this for a C, and the few problems that go with this. So what goes with this problem is 14 through 21. So that's the third part of this. See you guys soon.